Off-season day 2. Man, what's up? So, I had a couple things. Well, one main thing I really wanted to ask about and get y'all's opinions on. So, what determines or what qualifies someone to say they're a woofer? That term gets thrown around real loosely, I think. I think a lot of people use it as just like a word for status. To me, a woofer is someone who's caught tens and tens of thousands of canine coyotes, guys that I would consider to be woofers would be like Bob Went, Jepson, Waddell. If you want to consider, canine only, I would put Phil Brown in there. Nelson. A lot of Kohler. There's a lot of guys that I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a lot that I know, or that I am acquainted with, that I would categorize within the woofer status. I can tell you wholeheartedly that I do not think I'm a woofer. I do not think that me catching 100 or 200 or 300 coyotes in a season qualifies me as a woofer. I'm a hobby trapper, hobby canine trapper. I say that hobby, but like I said, I don't take it lightly. I see a woofer like O'Gorman. Everyone considers him a woofer. He's been in the game for a long time, and that's what he did for a career, was trap and protect livestock. So that's the same thing with Bob Went. Bob Went, I don't know how. I know he has probably over 20,000 fox that he's taken, and probably the same, or around about the same, or if not more, coyotes that he's taken. Those are the guys that I consider to be woofers. Now, I'm not saying that if you catch 100 coyotes or 200 or 300 that you're not a good trapper. I would still think that you're a really, a good trapper, but I don't think that it qualifies someone as a woofer. Now, from my perspective, I just want to be able to be the best that I can be with the time that I have allotted. Eventually build up my experience, build up my knowledge, obviously continue to pass that along and continue to talk about it to you. But I want to be out there and doing it, and eventually get to the point where maybe I don't have to work a full-time job, and I can trap as supplemental, as my supplemental income. That's a huge goal, and something to be working towards. But if it doesn't happen, I'm completely happy with how I trap right now. There are other guys that I think that trap and they go out and just do it for fun, or they want to have fun doing it, which, hey, by all means, if that's your prerogative, do it. Go for it. Some people like to make excuses and make statements, kind of like complain, to make them feel good, just in case, like, if things don't go their way, or if they don't, at least they had fun. Most people that are doers and get things done, they will be out there, taking the task under hand. Some guys are just doers. I don't think, I've heard Bob Went say, like, I'm not just going out there just to kill any and everything. I'm going out there to protect livestock, to do a job, to get paid. I don't think he, and same for me. I don't take pleasure in, or have have fun killing an animal. It's like a livelihood, and it's a livestock protection, and it's a crop protection, and it's having depredation going on. So I think, just to segue back, I think the term wolfer is loosely used within some circles. It doesn't make them not good trappers, or doesn't make someone not a good trapper. They definitely are doing well and doing, know what they're doing if they're able to catch 100 coyotes. Now, I guess something you'd have to look at is how long did it take them to catch it? Did it take them 140 or 120 days? They trapped from October to March, and you trapped 130 days and you only caught 100 coyotes? That, when you put it into that perspective, it's not even a coyote a day. Don't be taken for a fool by people who say that. But it is what it is. I have a library of books that I can go through and reference back to. So, in no way, shape, or form was this woofer thing meant to downplay anyone. It's more so like, if you're a woofer, that's like like the highest status, the highest badge of honor that you can get within I think the canine community, and I don't think that it shouldn't just be used lightly. Different people could have different names or different terminology for what it means. I see that a lot with people talking about draws, or talking about hogbacks, or whatever it might be. There's a lot of different definitions of what a draw is, or what a waterway is. And so, just to recap, this is off-season day 2. I'm on my way to work. I will probably be off a little early today, like around 4, maybe 3:30 or 4, and I'm gonna try and work on some stuff. I think I'm going to go through and show some of the grass collection and talk about the process of that. I'm also going to show you where I store my peat moss and how I cut it open, and this and that, just small stuff. But I'll also go through and kind of talk about the grass collection and how I use a yard sweeper and this and that to collect the grass, then dump it out, let it dry, rake it around. Yeah, man, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go do my work day and then come home and do a little bit more work, working on some videos. I'll see you there. Just got home from work. I have to go back. I'm on like a little break right now, but I'll go back at 1. I think it's like 11 o'clock right now. So I wanted to show you guys that, but I'm going to work out and then eat some lunch and then go back to work. So I better get to it. So what you're looking at is the front part of the yard. And this gets mowed maybe every other week. And what we do is we just kind of leave it and let this sit and dry out. And then we'll take a yard sweeper and we'll go over this. It'll collect it. And then I'll take it over to the concrete over there. So I'll just lay it all out. You little shit. I'll just lay it all out and kind of spread it out. Let it dry a little bit longer and then bag it up. And then I'll show you guys kind of how I bag it up and what I put it in, where I store it at. So this is just some of the bags that I have. The other ones are already put up. I'm just letting them hang out here under the lean-to and just store up a little bit longer and dry out a little bit more. But yeah, these bags are pretty beneficial, just for letting them dry out. I definitely don't like using these bags just solo. I like to actually put them in like a burlap sack or an old feed sack, and it's just because some of the grass will fall out of the sides, like if you can see. But if you put it in a burlap sack or a old feed sack, it does a lot better. I also have, well, I should say I also would recommend using a dry bag. I have a couple of dry bags that I use. I use one for the peat moss, and then I typically use one for, or have a spare for some grass. But I don't use, or I don't need to carry a whole bunch of grass because a little bit will go a long way. So I typically just use the old like burlap or feed sacks. Now for the peat moss, let me show you what's going on with that. So as for the peat moss, literally all I do, I just put them back here in this lean-to, and then I cut into them, and then just make a little X, just so moisture can get out of it. Any moisture that's in it. I mean, it may feel dry, but you know that's pretty wet still. These have only been here for about a week, 2 weeks, and then I've got some live edge boards and all these buckets right here. They're all full of dirt. I don't really use a whole lot of dirt, and I have two 55-gallon barrels full of, actually, I think it's still wax dirt, if I remember correctly. So that's really, I mean, in a nutshell, I collect all this stuff throughout the off season, hold on to it, dry it out, get it ready, and you know when it's time to use it, I've got it readily available. It's super easy, no issues there. So yeah, that's pretty much it with what I do for the grass clippings, the peat moss, and the dirt. I typically will only use the dirt if I need to, if I know it's going to be like really, really cold, freezing up. I do have wax dirt. I don't really use it unless I know I'm going to have a big line out and there's going to be some freeze thaw going on. But I don't like to use the wax dirt unless I have to. It's not anything with an odor thing. It's just I save it and hold on to it. The peat moss is easy to get. I think you can get like those 3.3 cubic bales. Does quite a few sets. And like I said, you know, just cut that X in it, let it dry out. And then after it's dried out, I'll put it in an old trash can just to fill up some containers. And then the rest of it, I just leave in the bales and run it like that. And then as I need it, I'll just come through and fill up my dry bag. So, and like I said, with the grass, the bags of grass, I put it into a old feed sack. So it's easy peasy. It's so simple and simplified that like the only downside is you just do it in the off season. It takes a little bit of time to do. And that's not even anything bad. So if you want to get a hold of me and talk about it or reach out and discuss anything or give me questions, just let me know. I'm here. I'm easily available.